Okay, for their next demo, we're gonna do the vent cover. Now, the vent cover is, as you can see in English units here. Oh, I see now. We are gonna use the ellipse command. I was looking at the inside for the outside. And then we're gonna be using circles and lines and polygons for the rest of it. So I'll show you how we can generate the shapes that are on the inside there. You'll notice that for the two hexagons here, we'll be able to draw one and then mirror it. And then we're also going to be able to draw the cutout here and do a circular pattern as well. So or mirror, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what we want to do. So so we'll start by creating the outside ellipse to the thickness of 1/8 of an inch, and then adding the cutouts on the inside. So extrude boss face first. Whether you do this as a front or a top, totally up to you. I'm gonna do it as a front. And then we're gonna create an ellipse. So the ellipse function in our sketch area is gonna be down and to the right of the line. And we're just gonna use a center ellipse. We're gonna center it right on the origin here is gonna be our first point. And we're gonna just go up and then like over. So it's gonna be the center. You're gonna go straight up and then over. And then we're gonna say, okay. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to then dimension it according to what we have. We have 5 on the outside, 8 across. So we'll go back over here, smart dimension. We're gonna go from one end to the other, and that's gonna be 8 inches. And we're gonna go top to bottom. Oops, didn't grab it. Smart dimension, top to bottom. There we go. And that's going to be 5. Now, I am not fully defined because right now these points are not vertical and horizontal to the origin. So we need to add those. So I'm going to grab, add a relation. I believe I can grab this point, the origin, and the other point and make them all horizontal to each other. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing. Add a relation for the top, the origin. Oh, I've got an extra in there. Sorry, I'm going to hit escape. I always like to make sure I'm completely not selected on anything. The origin and the bottom, and those are all going to be vertical. Okay, now we are fully defined. So for this ellipse, you're going to add the 2 dimensions, but you're also going to make the vertical points vertical with the origin, and then the horizontal points horizontal with the origin. All right, then you'll be fully defined. Once you're fully defined, you can exit the sketch, and the thickness that we're going to make this is that 0.125. And this is doing a mid plane because it's remembering from last time. I'm just going to do a blind. Blind is kind of our normal, and I'll do that. Okay. All right, there we go. So we've got a 1/4 inch disc, if you would, that's an ellipse shape. So I'm going to rename this as outside of, is it 2? Ellipse. There we go. Okay. All right, now really what we need to do is we need to create each one of those cutouts. So first of all, there's a hole in the center. So I'm going to do an extrude cut on that front surface. We're just going to do a simple hole on center. Smart dimension it, and that is going to be 1.5. Fully defined, exit the sketch, make sure it's going through all. Okay, good. And then okay. And that's going to be our rename center hole. And we'll do a file save as, and this is the vent cover. Okay. Then the next one we're going to do is, so we've got the outside, we've got the middle hole. Now we're going to add the cutout for the hexagon. And you'll notice that the dimension for the hexagon is 1 inch across the flats. And the flats in this case are horizontal. So let's go to SolidWorks. We're going to do an extrude cut on this surface. And now if we look at our options here, we're going to notice that we do have a polygon option. And it's right here in that middle column of the elements that we can sketch. and we're gonna click on that. And over on the left-hand side, we're not gonna do for construction. We just wanna identify how many sides this is gonna be. And we want it to be 6 sides, okay? And an inscribed circle, because that'll be the distance across the flats. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna go kind of in line with that origin, and we're gonna go right about here. And we're going to, I'm gonna kind of zoom in, we're gonna make a horizontal line. Now you could go vertical with this, but the way that we oriented, check the orientation on the drawing. We want the horizontal lines to be, you know, top and bottom here, and we want this to be in line. So make sure it's nice and horizontal when you draw that line. So we're gonna draw, we're just gonna left click on it, and then we're gonna hit OK. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to smart dimension across the flats. And that's gonna be 1 inch. Okay, now it is underdefined, okay? So the easiest thing, because it's the right size right now, the easiest thing to do here is to go up to fully define this sketch, okay? Fully define that sketch. So we're gonna fully define it, and it's gonna add some relations here. So I'm gonna say calculate, and it adds the tangent and the coincident and all that kind of stuff. And it just kind of finishes it off for us, okay? Additionally, it added a dimension to the center, which we will actually probably change. We're gonna go like this. And if we go to our drawing, our dimension is 3 inches to the center of that polygon. So we're just gonna go back over here. We're gonna take this 2.156, we're simply gonna delete it. And instead of going to that corner, we're going to add a smart dimension from the origin to the center. And that's going to be 3 inches. And now we're back to being fully defined. They just went from a different corner instead of the center. Okay. So I'm going to pull this down. All right. So I've got my polygon in place. I've got it fully defined. I am now going to exit the sketch. I went in under extrude cut. So it's going to be extruding through all, and I'm going to hit OK. And this is just one of them on the one side. So I'm going to left click, rename, and this is going to be my hexagon. Okay. Now I need to get the hexagon to the other side. So I'm going to select that hexagon. I'm going to go up to the mirror command on the feature ribbon. And then I'm going to mirror about, I'm going to expand out my part, and I'm going to mirror about the right plane. Okay. And we can see it previewed over there, and I'm going to say, okay. And now I've got it on the other side mirrored across. Do a quick file save. And now we have that there. So as we look, we've got the center hole, the 2 polygons. Now we just need to add the kind of half circle cutouts. All right. So you're gonna notice that right here is all our information for constructing that. And then once we have that in place, then we can do I think I did a mirror and then a mirror. So, and we might, or we could do, I don't know, either a mirror or a circular pattern, whichever one. So I'm going to go back to SolidWorks, and we are going to construct that one in the lower right-hand corner here. So we're going to be another extrude cut on this surface. And I'm going to kind of zoom in here. We're in our sketch mode right now. Okay. And we're going to use the information right here and the dimensions like from the center. So you can see that we have some dimensions from the center and over from the center to construct that half circle. So I'm going to be in my sketch mode here. I'm going to just kind of look here. The first one that I'm going to do is going to be first edge of the circle here. And the center of this is going to go from my origin. And it is going to be 0.75 down. Okay. And 1 inch from its center horizontally. 1 inch. And the radius that I created right here is this center for this radius right here. Okay. All right. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to do an offset to get that thickness. And that offset is going to be equal to, in this case, this is a radius of 0.25. So the distance across is a 1/2 inch. So this distance from here to here is a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go back over here. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got to dimension this guy first, so I've got to add my dimension here. And it's 0.75 to the middle, so a 1/4 inch less is going to be 0.5 for the smaller one. Okay, and then I'm going to do an offset entity from here out, and that's going to be 0.5. Okay. Yep, so it'll be a 1/4 inch on one side, 1/4 inch on the other. Yep, and then the middle would be 3/4. So I'm going to leave that there. Okay, so now what I have is I have these two arcs right here. Now I'm going to draw in a circle that's going to have a diameter of 1/2 inch, and it's going to be a 1/4 inch over, and it's going to be then 3/4 inch down from the center. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to draw a small little circle, and I'm just going to kind of draw it like right about here-ish. Okay. And oops, smart dimension, I'm going to do the outside diameter is going to be 0.5. And then I'm going to smart dimension from the center here down is going to be 0.75. Okay. And then from the center to that center is going to be 0.25. Hold on. Something's not quite right here. 0.75 down. Oh, I know what I did. That was a radius of 1/2 inch, not. Yeah, okay. This dimension is wrong. So this needs to be 1 inch. Oopsie. Not a radius. I did a diameter of 1/2 inch. It should be a radius of a 1/2 inch, but it's a diameter, oopsie, not of 0.1, it's diameter of 1. There we go. Okay. And then it's a 1/2 inch offset. So what I did incorrectly, and I apologize for this, when I was looking here at the radius of 0.75, I made this should be a radius of 1/2 inch, but I drew it as a diameter of 1/2 inch. Okay. So it's a diameter of 1 inch, radius of 1/2 inch. Okay. So sorry about that. So now I was looking at this like, that's not quite right. Okay. So I've got this in the correct spot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line from the quadrant to the quadrant. Okay. And that's connecting those two. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom, from the bottom quadrant to this bottom quadrant. Okay. So you kind of see how I'm connected there. So now I can trim away parts of this that I don't need right now anymore. So this is going to go away. That's going to go away. That's going to go away, and that is going to go away. So you might have to zoom in, and this is this left-hand side right here. Okay. Right there. They've got that constructed. Now I notice that there's not relations on here for some reason. So I'm going to grab this line. I'm going to add a relation. It needs to be horizontal. Okay. And I need to add a relation to there, horizontal as well. Okay, now I'm fully defined. So I'm not sure why I didn't grab that, but it didn't. Now I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to add my circle above and use the dimensions that are given. So I'm going to add this as a diameter of 1/2 inch, and I'm going to be up a 1/4 inch, and then over, it's going to be 1 plus 0.75, so 1 3/4. If we go here, I'm going to move this dimension over. I'm going to draw another 1/2 inch diameter circle, kind of like, I'm going to start it there and go there. Sometimes intentionally away from things so it's not too crowded. And now I'm going to add my dimension. Oh, I need to be down below. Sorry, I need to be down below the origin. So right about there. So now this is going to be a smart dimension from here to here. And that dimension is going to be, so it's 0.75 down and 0.25 up. So this is going to be 0.5. There we go. And then the smart dimension from here to here is going to be 1.75. Yeah, there we go. So then now I'm going to add my vertical lines here. Line from that quadrant to that quadrant. Go. And then line from this quadrant to that quadrant. And then again, adding the relation of, I think I can do them both at the same time. And they're going to be vertical. There we go, fully defined. Now we've got to do our trimming. So we want to get rid of this. We want to get rid of this, this, and that. Then we want to get rid of that and that. And I'm still fully defined, so that's good. I didn't get rid of too much. So, so there it is. There's my cutout. I am going to create one and cut it. And then I'm going to then put it in the other spot. So I'm going to leave this right here. I'm going to do an exit. It should be a through all. And now that's my first cutout. I'm going to call this the half circle cutout. Okay. And I'll do a save because I don't want to redo that again. So I've got everything saved right now. And then now I've got some choices, okay? So I can do this two ways. The first way, I'll expand out each one of these just to be sure. I'm gonna select that half circle cutout and I should be able to do a circular pattern and do 4 instances. Now I need to identify my axis. So that means I'm gonna go up to my little eyeball. I'm going to show my temporary axis. Now, this is going to be a tiny little axis, okay? But I'm going to have to zoom, 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 zoom in here. And this is the axis that I want to go around, okay? It's short because it's only 1/8 of an inch thick on our plate, okay? So you'll notice here that I've got around that axis, I've got 4 of them, half circle cutout. Why isn't it? Oh, I know, it is off a little bit, because it is not perfectly aligned from that center. Okay, so we can't do this one. I thought we could, but we can't. So we're going to do an X on this one. So we do have to do the mirror command. We're going to mirror first up and then over. I'm glad I tried that. I hadn't tried it. I thought it would work, but it's because this distance is different than this distance from the center. So that's why it didn't work out. So now I'm going to have my half circle cut out. I'm going to do the mirror command on the feature level. And I'm going to expand this out. And I'm first going to do my mirror about the top plane to the top there. I'm going to say, okay. And then now I'm going to take that mirror, keep that selected. And now I'm going to mirror that because that's both of those. And we're going to do that over the right plane. Okay. And there you go. Do a file save. And then the last thing you want to do, and I will let you do this on your own, is you're going to add steel, AISI 1020 steel, and then you're also going to include the dialog box on the side here. So you'll scooch this over, add your material, and then do your evaluate mass properties to add your dialog box to include with your screenshot. And that's the vent cover.